Yeah. Oh. I actually was just sitting thinking how much time is killed in here, you know. Like, I come in here November 2012. That's about 18 or 19 months ago. And I've still got the same problem. Well, I've got more problems now than I had then. Uh, Mainly due to the fact that no staff member have engaged with me, you know, to deal with my issues. Well, at the moment we're sleeping rough, you know, and as I was trying to tell Andrea, who's been assisting me here, uh, yeah, 63-year-old man, respectable, former businessman and property owner, uh, controversial uh, showbiz personality for the liberation or legalisation of cannabis over the years, and associated social improvements necessary, overdue in the community, right? Uh, Big guy, you know, but brought low. Big guy brought low by dishonest police officers in Scotland who chose to deal with my cannabis campaign by defamation of my character, false incrimination as a sex offender, imprisonment, repeated, cut off from all friends and so forth, so that basically a very big life has been brought down the toilet, and it ends up at a point where a young man like Woz can have me moved out of the hostel, where I've managed to keep my head up by my own intelligent techniques developed over the years because of the number of times I've had to live with them. Yeah, dogs. Yeah, well, so it's like I've been researching on behalf of the good people of the community. I've been researching cannabis, right? And that leads to discovering an awful lot more about life, including crime, the law, politics, party politics, all that bullshit that's been keeping the majority of the population in turmoil for most of the time. Yeah, and here I'm on the good guy side that's putting things right, and here those that are getting paid to put things right followed it up for me, because I don't know what Woz would feel like if he went out of his whatever accommodation he's got to walk his dog on a hot day. So don't even take the jacket, just the shirt and trousers and shoes, walk the dog and come back, and don't get into the place where you've been keeping yourself alive as your own carer, your own psychiatrist, because I'm not getting help. And what has horrified me most of all, as I keep saying, Oh dear internet. Hello everybody. I really do love you and I really have been working for you. Yeah, all these years since 1986 when me and my brother went up to the British government and said, legalise it. We didn't say, why don't you? We didn't say, oh, we're bad, please, can you let us get away with this bad thing? No, we went up to Her Majesty's government and we said, this bad thing should not be illegal. This is a good thing. Yeah, well, we've been effed over for that. My brother's dead, of course. And I'm still working on it. And this system here isn't working, you know. Because in my observation, in my time here, I'm in trouble and thrown out for not paying a service charge of £10 a week towards an overall charge of 220 to live in that hostel. Well, out of that money, just as an example, £15 is for cleaning. And there's round about 60 people in there. £900 a week for a guy that leaves plastic signs around going cleaning in progress, careful, when there is no cleaning in progress. This is a cleaner. This is a man that's been cleaning since he left school. Well, before he left school, he used to clean in a supermarket. Cleaning is my middle name. My dad was a police officer and a clean one. Yeah, so I objected to paying £10 out of my meagre pension because all my personal savings have been used up. You know, the stuff that was stolen off me. In Glastonbury, for example, my 2 computers, my electric guitars and amplifiers, microphones, hard drives, furniture, luxury furniture and all that. Yeah, I've used up my money, I'm down on pension, but I should pay £10 a week to live in a dirty place where they hand out free junk food off the counter at reception so that people who are intoxicated and barely conscious can drip it and drop it all round the floor, all round the hostel, so that it's trodden in by others who, when moving from room to room, seem to leave a lot of their drink and food on the floor. I object to that, you know, and object to the fact that I would take money out of my meagre pension and I'm homeless. That means I do not buy a big bag of things to put in the deep freeze and use them slowly over a period of time. Fast food has now come to the point where my body is rejecting it. I'm not going to eat another Subway. It's exactly the same thing every time I go there. No human being wants to live like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's a bit of a disruption to be put out. And here, I find that the whole place just runs on the basis of you've got to wait until next, whatever it is, you've got to wait until next week, then the next thing can be happening. We might get a form sent here, and then next week we'll fill up the form, we'll send it back, and then we'll find out next week if they got it yet. In the age where you can call the council free by phone or email and get an answer in seconds, but we're still filling up forms.
Yeah.
But that you've done your work for the week on that particular client. You know, that's what did you do with this client this week? Well, we filled up a form for the housing, sent it in. Cool. Tick. We did this week. We helped him to face up to his issues. But that's me trying to catch up with how my housing claim has gone wrong. The whole time I was here and being charged for key work. And as I've pointed out, even on the internet, the key worker is getting paid an awful lot more per week than what I'm getting to live on. No hurry on the key worker's point to get me sorted out. That's, you know, you could handle me in 1 week, earn your bread, you know. earn your bread. Just take one case and go, what is this guy's problem? Let's do it. Sort it. Oh, by the way, everybody else wants to know how did he manage to keep his duvet clean while he was sleeping on the street. I could help with that. Not a dull jack. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I despise those who do, and particularly those involved in this organisation, these organisations, man. People that are making this into a personal pleasure party. I despise that because you're getting paid a lot of money to help us get off smack, get off crack, stop drinking, get a lifestyle, go and look for a job, become a healthy, contributive citizen, not sit drunk on the front doorstep of a place that you call home, distracting all the nice people that come here from overseas to study at our university who live just along the road. First bit of British culture they've got to deal with is excess, drug excess. Whatever it is they do, they can do it here. And you get your food, so you can spend all your benefit money on illicit drugs or alcohol. I don't like that system. I don't believe just keep the problem there. We all get paid. Nobody ever checks on the cleaner. Nobody ever checks on the cleaner. I go into the kitchen there, up in that hostel, 3 cleaners sitting there, doing nothing, sitting round,
I really can't answer for what happens in the hostel, but I am responsible for what happens in the campus.
Yeah, well, I think that my story, just as a single example, is amazing. I showed up here with a lot more clobber, a lot better off, better luggage, a suitcase that actually still had 2 wheels on it, not one that I've got now. I showed up here a lot better off, with money in the bank, still in a position to handle it, to get a new place, furnish it and fit it before my money runs out, salvage what I can from where I lost it in Glastonbury. But I've come from that position to the point where I've got nothing left. I haven't got the stuff that I had at that time. Nothing. No hopes of getting a place. I filled up housing application that I wasn't helped with. I don't know why staff spend so much time in the office looking at a screen and not much time actually face to face with a human being that needs sorting. No? But I know that it suits, or these people think it suits them. Tuesday I get it down at Eastern Community Centre. Thursdays we get it from my Sisters of Mercy. You get a handout down at the Sallyanna if you go at 2:30. But if you say you've got kids, you get an extra box. But if you look in the pink book, the survival guide, it'll tell you get a good 3-courser if you're willing to go to this place or that place, what day of the week to go. You can always go around the campus, say you need to see the nurse, that'll get you dinner. Yeah? That's not solving any problems, man. That's even getting to look attractive, so that there's a young lady in here today. I knew her in Glastonbury when she was a minor, right? She looked like she was going to have an interesting life. She's here. She's using crack. She never got her face permanently disfigured by another woman kicking her in that park a few weeks ago while they're both on crack. At that point I was making noises. I phoned the 999 on that one. I thought, fuck's sake, I do not want to go into court and go, yeah, I saw him kick him in the face, he never got up again. Or she kicked her in the face, she never got up again. Don't want it. And I made a little bit of noise about that. Antisocial, aggressive, right? Because as me and Woz had a little discussion about it, some people, rather simplistic, without much experience of real life, believe that if a man raises his voice, he's automatically committing a crime. That is a wrong thing to do. all loud voice is wrong. No, I suggest to you, sir, that while you're being raped against your will or otherwise mucked about with, or meant to experience a lot of pain, and you're not sure that the other person involved is aware of the pain, I think it's perfectly natural to raise your voice. Or put it as I put to my mother, if it ain't a dog, if it doesn't bark, it ain't a dog. And if you kick a dog, it will bark. And if it's a smart dog, it will bite you. You know? But if you kick me, I'll bark. If you ignore me when I'm hurting, I'll bark. That is not a crime. I should not be evicted to sleep outdoors at the age of 63 with medical conditions from head to foot that are very unpleasant. I mean, nausea and pain and sadness about how it shouldn't be this bad, and then have to spend the whole day just trying to handle what? Getting through the day. We're not going to get a house, are we? Because we had no more chance of getting a house when we were living here. Now we've got a screwed up record. I think that's terrible, was. I think that's really horrible, man. You know, when you die, when your dad dies, your mother dies, there must be somebody in your life you care about. There must be some human being who, when they hurt, you hurt. Because that's what compassion means, mate. It doesn't mean, I'm enjoying a party, hey, you alright, mate. That's not compassion at all. Compassion is, you're hurting. Ouch, I feel it too. I've been working on that for rather a lot of years, and fortunately, as I say, marijuana has allowed me to endure a lot more pain, mental and emotional and physical, than most human beings would be expected to endure. It's horrible to be locked up for a fourth time in prison as a rumoured sex offender of a bad nature. That is really horrible, especially when you ain't got one friend on the outside you can call on. That's really rotten. I think you should have a little bit more respect for the man. Listen to what I'm saying. First of all, imagine, what if he is telling the truth? What if this guy is not what Dr. So-and-so said? Delusions of grandeur, sorting out the world, making the world a better place for me and my children and everybody else's children. Delusions of grandeur, eh? Right, so don't listen to what he said. Well, actually, back there in different places that I have actually sorted a few things. I just find it it's not nice to see this lack of respect, but this is a system that's been set up to perpetuate the problem. The longer you keep a person as a mental health case addict with alcohol problems, it's money for everybody. They get their meals and that. I think it all needs cleaned up. Really, we can make the books balance for Bristol. We can create a better future.
I think it's a bit, I don't know, I suppose naive to say that it's a system that's set up in order to keep people down. I think it doesn't account for unintended consequences, which is more realistic way of looking at what's happened, so that people set stuff up to try and help, and then people set stuff up to try and control, so that they're not don't have unintended consequences, and then they don't see the unintended consequences of that, and that's how you end up with a system like this. It's not, no one's intentionally designing something to keep people down. I think that's
well, when I first came to Bristol, I went to the Amelia Court.
Yeah.
The young chap there, Rob, long-haired, one of the old school, let's sort it out mob, he said the housing scene in Bristol it's a big business. He says supported housing doesn't usually have any support. They charge you more than fair rent for the property because housing benefit will automatically pay it. To move a person from one hostel to a temporary flat supplied by Elam Housing or ECHG or Houses for People or the other EDAs, the one that started up down the road. That means what? Grants for furniture, moving, nothing permanent. The person doesn't establish a home for themselves. Temporary. The rent is more than it should be. So it's all good for landlords, it's good for the housing associations, it's good for the English Churches Housing Group and the Elam Church property business. And all the workers that work in here, and all the key workers and all the people that man the desks at these hostels, yeah, it's good business. I didn't really want to get caught in it, you know. I wanted my own little gaff, and really when I first lost my gaff, if I had one human being willing to help me, I would have got my stuff back.
Sorry, I'll come back.
Well, there you go. This is most jumbled and gabbled version, but it can't be said that I haven't attempted to start the correction. It's very hard to keep a big head and to remember what you've been working on for years and to keep doing that at the same professional level as you were doing it at when you're physically run down and you don't have a chair or a bed or a pot to piss in. Hard. Hopefully not impossible, but I don't like the way this situation makes me feel such a failure and such a small thing in life. No. Being let down by the top man at the hostel, that's what's hurting me. I'm still a big geez. He's effed things up, and I think it's time for a shake up of the whole tree, get him off the job, clean it up. If you want to work, we'll employ you. If you don't want to work, go and starve. Even begging should be totally illegal. Let's clean it up. Because I'm not getting my money's worth it. Right? I don't want to stay in this situation. This is total waste of time. This is killing time. It's like, we don't get kicked out of here until that time, so just sit and keep quiet and doodle and look at the bottom of your coffee, and then you don't have to face up to reality until they're ready. Right, stopping transmission now, but as I say, I'm always willing for a sudden improvement when suddenly somebody just goes, oh, it's good news you weren't expecting.